At long last, we have finished the construction of the bridge, and we hope to dedicate it for the future in this community. In 1985, the county commissioners formed a historic preservation commission of Cooper Hill, Steve Short, and myself. And then shortly thereafter, they added Tommy Warnham to the group. So we got 4 that worked actively in conjunction with the Historical Society. Everybody helped on the project. I hadn't run into the first person that didn't do that dead level best to make this a success. We've had an interest in this bridge for years. I have a clipping here that was in 1965, and I was hoping Mr. Arnold could be here. He had a real interest in the bridge. In 1975, Mr. Arnold, in conjunction with J.C. Allaby, and I believe Harris Brantley was on the commission, they did a considerable amount of work here. The bridge has been damaged from time to time. During Mr. Hendricks' first administration or second administration, he convinced the highway department to build us a new bridge. So when the new bridge was built, then we had an opportunity to preserve this bridge. The bridge itself was built in 1892. It was by open competition. The county commissioners advertised in the Thomaston Times, and the successful bidders were a firm, Herring and Alford. Now, Herring was Dr. J.W. Herring, who was a local doctor, a very prominent man, and Mr. Alford was an orphan that Dr. Herring raised. Dr. Herring designed the bridge. He wrote plans and specifications for several bridges. It was awarded in June of 1892. They finished it in October of 1892, and they were paid in January of 1893. So our bridge is 100 years old. Now, the county commissioners in 1985 were kind enough to appoint a committee, a Historic Preservation Commission, to restore the bridge. Then they gave us $1,000 and said, now you got to restore the bridge, but you got to get the money elsewhere. So we were a little bit concerned about it, but we went out in the public and we had no trouble whatsoever raising enough money to restore the bridge. And I would like to mention the name and recognize the people, and when I get through reading the list, let's give them a good round of applause. But we have Neil Hightower representing Community Enterprising. We have Cooper Hill, who's hiding his head, who made a cash donation, plus a whole heap of work, plus a whole heap of drain tile. James Waller, who's sitting out here somewhere, he made a contribution. Danny Blanks through the Bank of Upson. George Ruff Jr. made a donation. I think Eddie Rogers is here representing the West Central Georgia Bank. They made a donation. Madison New made a sizable donation, and I hope Ann was able to come tonight. And then we had one particular, we had a teenage girl. Her name was Erin McCullough from Roswell, Georgia. And Erin, as a teenager in high school, designed a calendar. And it had 12 pages in it. She had a covered bridge on each page plus the calendar. And she sold these calendars, and she made a donation of $250 to the preservation of this bridge, and I felt that she needed special mention because of that. We have with us tonight, we have the mayor and the city council. We welcome y'all. We have the present county commissioners and the past county commissioners. Everybody has contributed. Everybody has helped. last year, the commissioners then put new shingles, excuse me, where's my wife, shingles, on the covered bridge. And of course, prior to that, from 85, the county commission in 75 did considerable work, and then as illustrated in this Thomaston Times, in 65 they did considerable work. At this time, is Matt Crawford here? We invite our representative, but is Mr. Etheridge here from the Highway Department? Willie will be running around. How you doing, Willie? Okay. I have two other things we need to do, and if anybody has any comments, I want to make a talk, feel free to do so about the covered bridge. But it is 100 years old. We're proud of it. I'd like to call the chairman of the county commissioners up here now. I'd like to call Tom Brannon, representing the Meade Corporation. If they could come up.
Thank you, Bobby. It's loud enough for everyone. Several years ago, when Bobby came to me and said that the commission had been formed for the restoration and preservation of this bridge, I said, well, anything I can do to help, I'll be glad to. He said, fine. Can you let us have permission to clean up the land around the bridge? I said, well, yeah, I guess so. So they did. They cleaned up the land around the bridge, and then Bobby never leaves anything alone. I guess you know that. He came back a little bit later, and he said, well, the county's got about 1.5 acres of old road bed. We'd like to trade you for 3 acres around the bridge. And I said, yeah, that sounds good, Bobby. Why would I want to do that? And he said, because it's the right thing to do. Mr. Hendricks, here's a quitclaim deed for 2.894 acres for the land surrounding the bridge from Meade County Board to Upson County. So. I am very happy to accept this land, Mr. Brannon, and we appreciate it very much. And I know that the Historical Society will enjoy it, and they will own it the rest of the time, yeah. But anyway, we appreciate it very much, and I'm happy to accept it. Thank you, sir.
Thank you, Tom. Mr. Hendricks. Tom has been working on this, getting this deed for the last 2 or 3 years, and it covers the area basically inside our fence we've got here. And for Mr. Hendricks' information, the bridge belongs to Upson County. Belongs to the citizens of Upson County, which means, Mr. Hendricks, that y'all gonna have to maintain it.
Okay.
There are other things going on. I'll mention briefly. We are in line for a historical marker, which we'll probably get late this fall. The Department of Transportation, they are applying for a enhancement grant to preserve all of the covered bridges in Georgia. We think that we will receive some monies to the few minor things we need to be done. We need the landscape. We've even talked, Mr. Hendricks mentioned that why not sprinkle the covered bridge? If we can do it, it would be good, because we've lost 2 bridges by fire in the last 5 years. And this is part of our heritage. We need to save it for the future generation, the children yet unborn. And it's something, there's not many of them left. Not many of them left. So it's extremely important. Mr. Etheridge, the reason I asked he was here, through the courtesy of the Department of Transportation, they made us a real nice sign that we're going to place down here at the bridge. And there it is. I wish Mr. Etheridge could be here. Now, something I hate to say. I've asked 14 people about the place to put the sign. I've got 10 different answers. So if anybody's got any ideas about where to place the sign, feel free to make comments either to Kay or to myself, and we will take it under consideration. Hopefully we can have it It's a nice sign. They did a wonderful job with it, and hope we can have it down here so people won't be shooting holes in it. But we are here to celebrate the 100th anniversary of our bridge, to dedicate it to the future, and that ends this part of the program, and I will turn it over to Kay Hightower, the president of the Historical Society.
Thank you, Bobby. I think we're fortunate to live in a community where this many people have worked together to help to preserve this bridge as part of our heritage. It's really heartwarming to know that all of these different elements in the community over the years have worked, and this is the results of what the community's been able to accomplish. And of course, there's one person here who Bobby has not mentioned who has been the backbone to all of this interest and perseverance in seeing that the bridge has been preserved, and that's Bobby himself. And I think we are indebted to him for all that he has done throughout the years, his past efforts, current efforts, and I am sure your future efforts will be there to help preserve this bridge. And Bobby, we are indebted to you, and for just a little token of appreciation, we would like to present you with this. And one more person I would like to recognize today is Hope Blackstock, because she is the person behind this wonderful atmosphere that we have, that we're enjoying right now for this dedication. And Hope, I always keep losing you. Where are you? There you are. We've got a little token of appreciation for you too, and I'll just keep it up here. I know Hope is very worried about the weather and that she wants us to move along as swiftly as possible so that the rains don't prevent us from enjoying our picnic. I will just say one more thing. I'm glad that all of the officers are here. Let's see, we have Jimmy McKinley, Vice President. We have a new secretary, Martha Bruton. She's here. Tom Jackson, our treasurer. Tom. There you are. And Pam, our corresponding secretary, is also here. Where are you, Pam? There you are. See, it's so wonderful to have this large crowd. You have to search for people. But thank you all for coming, and I think it's just a special day, and let's just end right now and enjoy our picnic and fellowship together. But thank you all for coming. And be sure you sign the register that Willie is bringing around. That's most important for our 100th celebration. We want to have a record of everyone who's here. So, thank you all for coming.
There's one more person that I've got to recognize because of his effort in the last 2 months in making this bridge look as good as it does. And he will probably kill me for doing it. Talk close to it. I'm talking about you. Mr. Dawson standing over there by Ray Carley, who is in charge of the roads in Upson County, did not want to be mentioned, but Mr. Dawson and his crew had did a wonderful job in cutting the grass down here and getting everything cleaned up. And Mr. Dawson, we thank you for that.
Thank you, Bobby. Does anyone want to say anything or remember anything, or would like to say something about the bridge before we have our picnic? Okay, if not, then it's great to have all of you here, and let's just enjoy the evening.
that.
Unfortunately, it appears that we have lost our sound on the 100th birthday celebration of the Auchumpkee Creek Covered Bridge by the Upson Historical Society. But we do have Bobby C. Smith, who is continuing to discuss the bridge and to recognize the members of the Upson County Historic Preservation Commission, which was responsible for restoration on this project. And that included Cooper Hill, Steve Short, Tommy Wadham, and Bobby C. And there's Hugo Starlin saying, "Hush, it's time to eat." We're going to identify some of these people. There's Faye Pittman there in the front, and some that we may miss here we can catch as they sit down to eat. And there's Glenda McKinley and Gary Gill and his 2 children. And there's Miss Frances Middlebrooks. And I see Frank Warren making his way up the line there, and Dick and Juliet Gravel. Miss Frances again. Sure was a good spread. And I see Claudette walking up her way over there, and there's Merle Mallory. We'll see Merle again. Who? Oh, yeah, Glenda. There's Clemmy Zellner. Now I missed her, and Antoinette Bentley, and then Ralph and Jenny Reddick, and Ralph, of course, is on City Council. And Emmett and his wife Lila Bryan. Lila's on City Council. There's Tubby Smith, Bobby's wife, and Owen Adams, Norma Jackson, and Charles Davison. I can't tell who that lady is. There's Carolyn Black there for a second. Nolan Presley and Joe Thompson. Was that Miss Martha in front of her in line, or was she already sitting down? We were glad she was there. And Dr. Justice and Ann Gower, and Mr. Childs, John Childs, and Kay and Neil Hightower. Neil, of course, is the CEO of Thomaston Mills, and Kay's the CEO of everything else. And there's Hugo Starlin and Willie Dawson and Tony Crafter and Joyce Kendall and Tommy Wanham and Irvin Hendricks. There's Mr. Wanham with that distinguished mustache, and of course Tom and Irvin and Bobby C. got to pose for a picture in front of the bridge. Bobby showing off how tall he is. And then we have a sweeping vista. And there's Tamika Howard, and there's Claudette Fagan, and we had Willie Mae McCrary and Mary Davison and Pearline Alexander that I was missing there, and then Owen Adams, Hope Blackstock, who was responsible for planning the birthday celebration, and she's showing off the cake that I believe was done by Vicky's Cake Shop? Did the cake, Vicky Hart. Hope did a great job. And there's Louise Butler. And I can't recognize that woman with the hat on. And Elizabeth Story and Becky Bullington, and the Williams is there. And then Linda Timberlake and Thelma and George Reddick. Thelma's a past president of the Historical Society, and George is chairman of the Development Authority. Hey, George. And then Martha Reeves right there, and Lakeitha Reeves, who's on City Council and County Clerk. Joel Pitts, who's on the County Commission, and Wilma Hooper, and Mayor and Mrs. Charles Kersey, Jackie Barron, and Rachel Trice. There's George Ruff there with the plaid shirt on, talking to Eddie Rogers, who's president of West Central Georgia Bank, and George works for Yamaha, and he's on the Arts Council board. And there's Edward and Betty Sue Trice. Edward is a retired clerk of court and currently the municipal court judge. And I think I see Ms. Willoughby back there. There's Jean Hill right there, right behind Edward. And then Doris Willoughby and Ms. Davison. And there's Mr. Davison again. And there's Martha and Sam Bruton, City Council. Sam's on City Ghost, Juliet Gravel Jr. And Sam's on City Council. Martha's like Cassius and everything else. And Merle Mallory and Glenda McKinley and Ray Corley. And there was Mr. Waller, who's going to talk to us a little bit about the bridge. And here comes Lorraine Drake. And George Ruff. George Stevens Ruff, not to be confused with his daddy. No, he's not Junior. And there's Betsy Huber and Bobby Smith. And Bobby and James Waller now, who you'll see in just a minute, are going to take over the discussion about the bridge and the history of it and how it's constructed.
Right here from this point, Betsy starts asking me a bunch of foolish questions, and I try to answer them for her, and I don't know what we're doing. Don't remember the question, but we're pointing out the construction of the bridge at this point. In fact, there are pegs at each intersection, and there are 3 pegs and an iron bolt at the top. And you notice the cross members, they're on a 61-degree angle, and they go all the way through the bridge. The roof itself is a truss-type construction. You see a bolt up there where they're fastened together. And the cross beams, where they go across, well, it's a double cross, but, well, unless you're there, you can't tell. But anyway, there's a method I'm trying to explain now as to how they straighten the top cord and the bottom cord when they finish the bridge. And then Betsy, she looks around, and I don't know what question she asks now.
It's an Ithiel town design.
Ithiel town.
Founded in 1820.
That's right. Town and lattice construction, which is a very good wood construction, and the roof on top of the bridge is there to protect the timbers. Not to cord in, not to have parties in, and not to get out of the weather, but merely to protect the bridge. And that's the reason the bridge has stood so long with very, very little damage to it. Built in 1892, this gentleman right here is James Waller, who knows a great deal about the bridge, having worked for the county for years and years, and also lived in the territory. James, you remember what you said then?
No.
No, you was asking something.
I was listening and wasn't remembering what I was saying,
I think we got down at the other end when we really got to talking there.
Yeah.
Okay, we'll get down there in a minute. But anyway, James and myself are having real involved conversation about the bridge, and let's see what happened next.
When did they close the bridge, Bobby? The traffic?
The bridge was closed, what, 3 years ago?
It was in
1985.
When they closed it, when they built a new bridge, which
That's a new bridge.
new bridge downstream. Now we're on the underside of the bridge, and we again see this is the bottom cord, 3 by 13 on either side, and the cross members come down, 3 pegs and a bolt. And they're bolted together and pegged together. And the bridge had a 6-inch crown in it, and it hadn't settled a bit throughout the span of the bridge. And we're looking, and I believe James called these the shoes that they're sitting on. They're 20 feet long, they're 18 inches wide, they're 1 foot thick. Now you can see the little crown in the bridge. And they're 6 inches, and they're made out of one timber. The bridge itself is has a span of 96 feet, and then it's cantilevered over each end 12 feet. That'll be on each side, so it gives us a 96 plus 24 is what, Betsy?
120
feet long for the total bridge. This is looking at the underside of the bridge, showing the construction and the cross members, and part of these are replacement cross members because what fell in the bridge back in the 50s?
Truck fell through the bridge on the west side.
On the west side of the bridge back in the 50s. And of course, that's the sign that was made by Steve Short, right by himself, for the covered bridge. Okay, now James, tell us something about where the timber came from. And
The timber came from the Davison place about 3 miles east of the bridge. And it is the pattern, Dr. Herring had the pattern, and he cut it out on at the mill, and they moved the finished product to the site and put it together. Mr. Warren Alford was the man that put it together. I believe Mr. Alford and Dr. Herring was in construction business together, wasn't it?
that's right.
And of course that had been quite a few years back.
Yeah, 1892?
Yeah. And the other design is called the King Post, and you don't have the lattice on the King Post that you have on the town's lattice.
Didn't some of your people cut some of the timber?
No, he didn't cut the timber. He helped them haul it.
Kept all the timber
Uh-huh.
down that too?
I imagine the heavy pieces is ones that he hauled because it was my granddaddy, and he was a pretty good sized man. And at that time it was most brute strength.
There's Martha Thompson.
Okay, now we go back to, there's Miss Thompson and Joe, and let me turn it back to Betsy.
There's Owen Adams, and he's the one, of course, who donated the video camera. There's going to be some of these people here that I don't know. I think that's Ms. Adams and Bentley. Bentley Preston. Preston Bentley, excuse me. And Joe Thompson. There's Tom Jackson and his wife Norma. Tom's a CPA here, and Miss Thompson there, and there's Farley Hardy back there, and there's Miss Fordham, Ann New.
And New.
Yeah. And Carolyn Black there in the yellow. And Hewlett and Helen Salter. There's Miss Fordham. I misidentified that woman. That's Miss Fordham and Wilma Hooper and Antoinette Bentley, and there's a good shot of Clemmy Zellner. And Mr. Childs. He's so sweet.
Frank Warren.
Frank Warren.
He ain't that sweet.
And Dick and Juliet there. Claudette and Miss Davison and Lorraine, and let's see, there's Paul Sullivan, otherwise known as Hope Blackstock's daddy. Bobby C.
Well,
Yeah, Willie Ellerby, he's the magistrate, chief magistrate, and Jimmy McKinley, Glenda's husband, and isn't that J.C. Ellerby?
Yeah.
And Henry Wilder there, sitting there eating, and Mr. Wanham and Mr. Davison there. Oh, and there's Gene and Cooper Hill. Cooper, of course, was responsible for a major portion on the restoration of the bridge. If it hadn't been for him, I don't know that we'd have gotten all this done. Do you, Bobby?
Could have really got it done, but
It would have been a whole lot. That's right. Would have been a whole lot more trouble and expense. Mary Ellen McNeely. Yeah, I miss Pat Smith back there. There's Tubby. And Hugo. And there's W.B. and Mary Ann Smith. And there was Mary Carlisle Dallas. Now, we didn't get to see her enough. And there's Thelma and George. Juliet. Juliet Jr. and Sr. Dick, and of course, Mr. Warren. Whew! I believe our photographer there's Pam Driver. And Linda Timberlake behind her. Yeah. Oh, that was Vera Gilmore that I identified as Miss Fordham a while ago. I think we've told who most of these folks are here. Miss Emmett and Lila.
All that area in the background is the property that was donated by Mead Corporation.
Yeah, Mead Corporation. Oh, there's Brady Dickens.
Yeah, it's pretty.
And Ray and...
Ray's also on the county commission.
Yeah, I didn't identify him a while ago as a county commissioner, but he is. JC is a former county commissioner who was on the county commission when this was initiated.
They did considerable restoration in 1975.
Oh, okay.
No, I was with Pike County at that time.
Mr. Presley and Eddie and Richard Bischoff standing up back there in the blue shirt. Eating.
That's Nolan.
Well, I know, but there's Skippy and there's Emmett and there's Nolan. He's a poet. He loves to write. And there's Irvin. You notice who got the TV tray. Irvin is the chairman of the county commission. I think he was identified earlier in the tape during the program. Yeah, Irvin got the TV tray.
Here we go, Kay. Make it work.
Now we're going to talk about some things that have been donated.
King's Post and Queen's Post Bridge. The Queen Post has got a raise. This is a Queen Post.
Kay is talking about this painting that was donated by Luther Davis of the covered bridge that was really painted in 1960, or represented the bridge in 1960, and it's an oil crayon. And he remembers that because he took his children, who were ages 5 and 2, to fish and enjoy the setting. And at that time, the road wasn't paved to the bridge. And we'll get a shot of that in just a second.
And he was loaning it to us.
Oh, he's loaning it. Oh, okay. I'm sorry. Isn't that nice? And then this is the Zimmerman chair.
Zimmerman chair.
And the thing that makes it different is the way the legs are done, the supports.
That's a patent design, and he manufactured the chair in Upson County back in the 1870s, 1880s period.
And that has been donated to the Historical Society, isn't that correct? And will be, what, at the house?
And this is
Queen.